Hey guys, I'm Phoenix here and welcome to No Man's Sky. Now this was a game that I streamed a couple of years ago, and all in all my general consensus was that it was an alright game in general. But it suffered from some problems where this is a very sort of edge case kind of scenario where I've basically got a broken version of Windows Update, and as a result it can be very picky about taking focus of other games and programs, and it did this with No Man's Sky. It's not all of them, and most titles aren't affected. It's No Man's Sky and it's iTunes are the two that it affects. Now that's very, very specific. For most people, it would be more about the other problems of the game. Now I actually refunded it, and I rebought it about a year later, something like that, in a sale. I can't remember if I got it in a sale or full. It doesn't matter anyway. I rebought it to try it again, and with some playing around with my system, I was actually able to get it to run properly without it constantly minimising to the taskbar. The fix actually was, if anybody's interested, to disable Windows Update. It wasn't working anyway, so why have it running? This is still the case with the game. I have Windows Update disabled again after trying to play around with it to get it to work again. Gave up, and as a result Windows Update is now back to not working or not even running anymore, but No Man's Sky can play. The other issue that I had with the game was that it was very much about fueling up your stuff. So something would run out of fuel, and then you would have to fuel it up with a specific item in order to keep going. Also, the Sentinels I found to be quite annoying. If these were the sorts of things that you had problems with the original game, that hasn't changed. There may be different fuel types for you to refuel your suit with, your starship, your multi-tool, but it's the same system. In order to refuel my stabilised flame cycler, however, for example, I need phosphorus ion batteries or advanced ion batteries. However, with my hazard protection, I can run it off sodium as well as the iron batteries. My life support needs oxygen or dioxide or oxygen capsules, and it goes through with the pulse engine now needs tritium or pyrite to run. Your launch thruster needs launch fuel or uranium. Your hyperdrive needs warp fuel. All of this I find to be pointless sort of busy work. And the same with the Sentinels. The Sentinels haven't changed. They bug you in a game that's predominantly about building and mining. And whilst I was wandering around the wastes, I did in fact make myself some more launch fuel so I can take off and leave this planet. The game is still very much as it was a couple of years ago, all in all. If you didn't get roped into the hype, then this game hasn't changed. It's changed its skin, but it hasn't changed its core. Its core is basically just a planet exploration type of game. You've got exo vehicles now, but you had that about a year ago when they added those. So if you were hoping for this update to make a major change for you, if you were one of those people who didn't get pulled into the hype and didn't really care about the hype, like I just, I saw some of the game, thought, that looks interesting, I'll pick it up. I wasn't exactly hyped for it, and so when it all went disastrously wrong for some people, I didn't really get caught up in that. It was just sort of a game that that some people didn't like because of reasons. Now they have added multiplayer, they have added a third-person mode. I don't use the third-person mode because, all in all, this game was designed as a first-person game, so why would you play a first-person game in third person? But, yeah, there is a third-person mode. Word of warning, if you have played it in first person and you're used to it in first person, you are going to get a shock when you load up a new game, because it sticks you straight into third person. And it is killing you, all the while, whilst you're trying to get it out of third person. And in fact, it's killing you all the while whilst you are watching a lovely planetary Passover. Yeah, there's some interesting design choices where they give you no control over a scene, technically. I mean, you can skip the scene, obviously, but all the while you're in one of those little cutscenes, you are actually losing your health and stuff, which is a bit of an odd design choice, especially at the start where you're just starting out. It is technically the tutorial. And I think days have passed now where you can legitimately kill someone in the tutorial. Those days used to exist. They don't anymore for a reason. I think, whilst it's quite fun really to die in the tutorial for Fallout 1 and 2, I don't think it's particularly... it shouldn't be something that happens these days, I don't think. So, and I think the key thing about that is that in Fallout 1 and 2, if you died in the tutorial, usually it was something that you did, rather than in No Man's Sky, if you are losing most of your systems whilst you're sitting in a cutscene, that isn't actually your fault. It's the game saying, hey, we're going to take control over you. We're going to take control for you now, but we are still going to do damage, but we're not actually going to tell you that. So, yeah, that is a little bit of a problem. Where does this game excel? The planets. All in all, it is, as I said, it's a planetary explorer. You get down, you basically warp to a system, you go down to the planet, you see what's there. They have added freighters, and you do get free freighter now. And I haven't really messed around too much with the freighters. We might... I'll spawn one in when we... I'll spawn one in now, why not? I just need to get away from the station a bit. It won't use me any fuel for me to take off from the freighter. So let's grab our freighter, which is on X. Summon freighter. It'll take a moment to arrive. Would help if I actually pressed the button, because of course the game is basically a direct port from the consoles, so a lot of the controls are sort of, they didn't have enough controls on the controller, so they've had to hide things away a bit. It's a little bit of a meh system. Anyway, so this is my freighter, and drop that down. You can, I think, keep the ships that you buy in here. I don't know, I haven't really messed around with this very much. There's a few odd bugs, I have to say, that seem to have arisen with the building system. It will sometimes build things for you without you actually asking them to actually build something. So, for example, walls. You might go to the wall section and it suddenly builds you a wall. Well, I didn't want it to build a wall. I just wanted to look at the menu to see what I could build. It's very picky, and sometimes when you're trying to build something in a specific place, all you want to do is bring up the menu and guide it in. No, it'll just build you a wall. Well, I didn't want a wall down the middle of my room, but now I've got to work out how to remove that wall without it then rebuilding the wall in exactly the same place. There's some bugs, and I wish they would hurry up and fix them. Anyway, so this is my freighter. You can send out missions from the freighter with any frigates that you have. I only have one frigate at the moment because I don't have a huge amount of money. So this guy failed in his mission. He covered 738 light years. We got some Magno Gold. We got some rare metal elements, and then there was some kind of accident, and they returned with an intact reactor vessel from a freighter crash site, and the reactor melted down, so it got sent back for repairs. So let's end the expedition. And I think at this point, if I go down here, possibly, I might be able to send it out again, I don't know. Some views from potential expeditions. I can't do that one anymore. I could send it out on a balanced one, or a trade. It's not really a trader. It's a industrial ship. So let's send it out onto. Oh, it's got a damaged component apparently. Can I? Oh, how do I? I think if I go down to this one, possibly manage fleet. Here we go. What do I need in order to repair this component? It's got a damaged component, but it won't actually tell me how I actually fix it, which is a bit of a pain. Right, I'm just going to send it out on a balanced mission anyway. And yeah, potential expeditions. It should do fine. Let's just send it out on a balanced one. It's going to take 3 hours of real world time to do, but launch expedition. Right, and that's how you launch an expedition. My photo is. It's damaged, but it'll go out and it'll go out and do some trade, I guess, possibly. It's basically another way of making some cash, because the base game had a bit of an issue, I think, with being able to create cash. And anyway, so I'm gonna jump into my ship and gonna go back to my main base and kind of show you what's going on there. There's an awful lot more sort of steps to build things now, instead of just getting iron and then building things out of iron. You now have to get the right kind of iron, and it's like iron powder and magnetized iron, and there's a few more steps in order for you to build things. I don't know if I agree with that. I sort of understand what they were going for, but I don't know. I think they wanted to give you a little bit more to do. Also, something to note, you can sort of bypass things by having like the advanced mining laser, but your base multi-tool only has a few slots, so you end up having to choose between a bolt caster and the advanced mining laser, and it took me a very long time for me to be able to find a new bolt caster. You do get one as a result of, I think it's the military guy, but if you're doing things like production facilities and that, it's a very good idea to have a bolt caster that can actually do multiple things. So I managed to get my hands on a decent multi-tool, which is like 22 slot multi-tool, so hopefully that will be alright for the moment. Now we're just warping back to the station. There's an awful lot of warping to and from things, so you don't need to use warp fuel, which is a good idea, but again, that's something from the base game. The core game hasn't changed, and if you didn't like the core game, I don't think you will like it now. It's better, possibly, for some people. It's got multiplayer, proper multiplayer now, and I think that's really the only thing, the core thing that they've actually changed. Oh, my world here, it's an ice world called the Frost. I called it the Frost, or the base is called the Frost anyway. So yeah, and it has some quite frequent storms that wash in. I thought it was quite nice, quite apt really, considering, you know, frozen skies and all that. So yep, so this is the Frost. You can build sort of other building type things now, with like walls and sort of individual piece construction, which is different. There is no real advantage to building it out of wood compared to, say, out of metal. There's no sort of damage to these components, it just sort of exists, and you unlock more components through this blueprint analyzer. And I might have some things, no I don't have any, but yeah, it tells you how much of these blueprint things that you need to exchange to get blueprints, salvage technology modules, which you find on planets. But yeah, okay, so I just need to go. So all of this stuff that you're seeing now, it's been in the game for a while. So ever since they added building, actually, in the first place. So that's my scientist. So I just need to chat to him. and I get an unstable gel blueprint out of that, and that gets me okay. So he wants me to make some iron batteries, possibly just the one, and I also got the chromatic metal. As I said, everything's sort of slightly changed. You do now need a refined... Oh, for God's sake, I hate these. No, I want to go down the ladder, not up it. I wish there were some slopes. I think there are some slopes, actually, and I'm going to have to modify my base eventually anyway. It's a bit of a bodge job. So over here is the refinery. It runs on carbon. And if you put in your copper and take out my pure ferrite, you basically just begin that. It makes me chromatic metal, which I can then use to build the... that's the wrong one. This also has a habit of just jumping to things, so if I go into equipment now, it's going to take me into floor containment. Go down, it goes down by 1. It has a habit of just sort of building things, so just be careful when you're doing this. So I need 40 chromatic metal, which I should be able to get from that. Oh yeah, there we go. So we go to Z, base components, jump into the wooden wall again, because why not? Equipment, down to specialist terminals, and then we build a... What? I picked up 40 chromatic... Oh yes, because it's just built one, and it's also added a farmer. What? Oh, it's the same guy. Okay, he's now a farmer as well. He just exists in 2 places at the same time. It's a bit, yeah. So, okay. Oh, because it's built a... Oh, I know what it's done. Right, okay, so what we need to do now is go into control and then delete it, and then maybe sort of go up in the sky a bit, so it might not be able to lock onto something. Oh god, that's gonna... Yeah, agricultural terminal, which is what I want. There we go. Right. So now we've got an agricultural terminal, which means that we need to find a GEC. And then it's just a case of finding a GEC. But I think you've seen what the game is now. Ultimately, if you didn't like it before, when it didn't have multiplayer, and multiplayer is not a big thing for you, you probably still won't like it. The core game has not changed. He wants me to just go off on a mission, I think. So, yeah, if multiplayer was more your thing, well, they've got fully fledged multiplayer in the game now. If you wanted a single player experience with a little bit more to do, yeah, I guess it's got that as well. Certainly, once you get your agricultural stuff set up, which this will be my greenhouse, then you don't have to do quite so much going to other planets to find stuff, because there are plants that will grow useful resources with you. So that's what I'm going to continue on to do now. But I should note also, while I just remember that I do need to save regularly, I had a crash earlier, and thankfully I didn't lose too much because I just finished a couple of missions, but it did put me back a bit, and that kind of was a little annoying. But, the frost base is coming on well, and if it wasn't for the flying cats, then everything would be perfect. I might have to murder some flying cats at some point. But, yeah, that's my base so far. And with that, I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.